Hello!
Hi.
Woo! We are live.
We are live. And we already have one person in the chat, so this is a 100% increase from, well, I don't know.
Hello, people.
The usual, yeah. Noise is here. Noise has done our theme song, so in between the staticky sounds, that actual music is all noised.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Friend of the show.
Hello, friend of the show.
Yeah. All right, everyone. So, Bad Internet Friends, episode 13, special guest, DiceyGuy.
Hey.
Hello, I'm special.
When I was in school, they called the special kids good with their hands because we had gotten to the point where you couldn't say that they were like stupid kids. That was not, nice. It wasn't their fault. But we had to acknowledge that, some of them aren't going to go to college. So they were good with their hands.
And that's true.
Unfortunately, some of the kids are also just like stupid. Like they aren't good with their hands either. But, you got to give them something.
Thanks. I guess. Yep.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about you?
Oh, God. Yeah. We had a pre-ramble here and we was talking about what I am or who I was thinking about that. And I'm like, holy shit. Where to start and where to finish? I don't actually know. I'm from Norway. So that's why I am the way I am. I've been playing with miniatures and with my hands since the 90s and painted them and collecting Bretonians and doing a lot of stuff. I'm always trying to do stuff and finding a good thing to play with and stuff like that. And Warhammer was very fun for me to play and paint and read all the lore and stuff. But then when we come to the actual playing, it was so chunky with the rule set and the spells and everything else. And, when you're playing like 2 games a year and when you are playing, all the other ones was so good at the rules and the purple fucking sun coming and everything just dies.
You're basically like learning the game all over each time, right?
Yeah. New edition.
Yeah.
And then stay for like 5 years. Hey, I know this game. And then they Age of Sigmar this shit. So, which was a good thing. 4 pages that I could read and get around and throw some dice. And Bretonians was insane in that. They had that legacy rule set. So you could have, if you dropped like 25 archers of Bretonians, you can roll triple your dice rolls on anything. So you can triple click everything. So even if it was a chaos demon or whatever, they just shoot it out to space. And then I can ride in with my Pegasus over them, take a U-turn, and then attack them from the behind. Like, that's glorious. So Age of Sigmar, that's the good stuff.
Oh yeah. Just gonna shout out a couple people. Don Juan Don, hello. Noise is on European time, so he's right there along with Dicey.
Absolutely.
And
this is our,
Mr.
European
Void Captain Bazooka. Yeah.
Hey.
Also known as Bazooka J Rambo in my heart forever.
That is the title we should all aspire to.
Yep.
Yes, sir. So, DiceyGuy, you are Norwegian.
Yes.
This is correct.
I
need your expert opinion on something. I have a video. I need you to listen to it very carefully and tell me if it is true or not about Norwegians.
Oh dear.
Are you ready?
No. There is a joke that no Norwegian has ever laughed at that I have heard, and that is, Norwegian, is there really such a language? Isn't it just Danish but pronounced in Swedish?
What?
I don't think we got any sound.
The sound didn't come through?
Norwegian was like Danish, but then it clipped.
Oh.
Yeah, there was like some very faint sound, so you're gonna have to like recreate the joke, I think.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, sometimes it bombs.
Mm-hmm.
So my mother-in-law was on for our Christmas episode, Good Jul.
Okay.
And she said that there's a joke that Swedish people find very funny.
Yep.
And it is Norwegian. Is there really such a language? Isn't it just Danish pronounced in a Swedish way? It says, no Norwegians ever find this joke funny.
Okay, so maybe I'm Swedish then. But yeah, it's but the very curious thing is that when a Danish and a Norwegian talk together, we can understand each other. And a Dane and a Norwegian, when we listen to a Swedish person, we understand them. But when we are talking to them, they're like, "What? What you're saying?" It's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
It is easier in writing. I have a couple of Norwegian,
actually, it is
Norwegian RPG
harder
books,
in writing because Swedes are using different letters and stuff. So
yeah, like I have a couple of Norwegian RPG books, and it reads exactly like Danish, just with like occasionally. Actually, in a way, the Norwegian spellings almost make more sense because they're slightly more phonetically accurate. So it tends to be written out like you would actually say the word.
Yeah.
So
we are smarter than the Danes. Yep.
Yes.
Oh.
Well, that's fired.
Shots fired.
I did have you might know this because I actually have them on Amazon quick lunch, like the little like Kit Kats.
No, it's not. You pagan!
Well, I live among Americans now, so I had to introduce it to something. So I gave one to my wife, and we were both like, "Oh, these are so good! Why are these so much better than American Kit Kat?" Yeah. And then we looked at the packaging, and it turns out the calorie count is double for the same amount. So I was like, "Okay, that's why it's good." It's all fat and
actually,
sugar.
the first commercials of quick lunch back in the 50s was like, you don't have to pack your. We used to have our lunch package with bread and stuff on it. You don't have to get that anymore. You can just buy quick lunch, and it will be a quick lunch because it's like 5 breads or something in calories. So every Easter we go skiing here, and it's snowing and sun and stuff, and you put your quick lunch in your Japanese Gap and having a good time. Yeah. And it actually has inside. It has the mountain rules and how to survive if you are lost on the mountains. It's very good. Okay. Before we had like the 10 commandments, but now you have 9. They have cut one off. It used to say, ask mountain men. But it's like, no, you don't ask the mountain men and tell them where you are and stuff. You just go be quiet about it. Don't tell the madman.
Yeah. See, for Danes, we need advice for that because we don't have any mountains, so we just get confused. And
I know you have like a little, I don't know.
Yeah, we got like a little hill, which we called the Himmelbjerg, the sky mountain, because that's the biggest thing we'd ever seen was like a little hill. Like, there is nothing that could get any bigger than this. We're going to call it the Sky Mountain.
Okay, so I think it's like where I live it's coming off of the prairies. It goes into the mountains. So we call it the foothills. So you start seeing like level, so you get off the flatlands where you can see forever. And then in the distance, maybe you can see the mountains. But for now, you're just like going up and down.
Yeah, because in the north, we have like parts in northern Norway where we have like the mountains, like in Tromsø, and longer south you have Bergen and stuff like that. There we have a lot of hills. So the girls there have very fine, firm asses. But then you have like in Finnmark, you have just the plateau, so they are more flat. So they are distinct the way they are looking. Anyways,
okay. The
more you know, I guess.
Mr. Rolando Rattus, formerly known as Dave Dog, is also here. Hello. He says, "What's this? I watched Three Amigos years ago with Chevy Chase, Steve Martin, and Martin Short. I'm not sure I fancy seeing it again." It's very
question,
as always.
Who is who then? I think I am Martin Short. I'm very short.
Okay, yeah.
I think Dave is more the Chevy Chase type. I think that fits your vibe. So, which means, unfortunately, I get to be Steve Martin, but he did okay for himself.
Yeah,
I think he's cool.
Probably had the best movies out of all of them.
Yeah, that's probably true, actually.
Okay. So our main topic today is DiceyGuy telling us all about the volunteer project he started up way up in the isolated, barren wasteland
How
of
do
Norway.
how do you teach reindeer to play Warhammer? That's a question we've all had on
Yes.
our minds.
You know, I have actually an answer for that. Do you want to
Okay.
hear it?
Yes.
You don't. There's a reason. There is a reason why the Santa's reindeers are flying in the sky. It's because they are eating like flame sop and stuff that gives them hallucinogenic powers. So yeah, you don't want to have anything to do with the reindeers. They are freaking off the chains with stuff. So don't teach reindeers anything. They just
This is fair.
they just leave them alone, and they are cool. They do their thing.
Yeah. I was seeing a place
and if you're hungry, you can actually just hunt them down and smoke their hearts and stuff and eat them. They're very good at eating.
Oh yes.
I was seeing a place up in northern Sweden, in Kiruna, where you can apparently get reindeer tacos, and I was like, I would eat a reindeer taco. I would try that.
It's freaking good. It's freaking good.
Okay.
It's actually it's like the neighbor town for where I lived when I was younger, Kiruna, and we are a lot of times we were passing into Kiruna. Kiruna is actually a very interesting town because they have moved the whole freaking town a little bit to the side because they have like underneath it they are mining.
Yeah.
The whole freaking town is moved. Some I don't know exact, but it's insane. It's very fun to think about actually.
Yeah.
Anyways, we was going to talk about my volunteer work, and to be fair, it's not a project just me running it. It's me and 4 other guys. And we just find ourselves one day playing Magic the Gathering Commander and stuff, and like we are seeing our numbers dwindling. You know, we're getting older. We don't have anybody to play with. There's just the group is getting smaller and smaller. We have lost all our people that play miniature games to, you know, being adults moving around. You know, in Norway, you need to move around to get jobs and stuff. So you lose good friends that you can just kick down and throw dice and, you know, jab shit with. So it's basically just Magic the Gathering Commander, which is one of the best games ever. But, you know, you want to have variety when you are having your... So it's a good spread to have different things. So we was like, holy shit, we need to do something. And then we brainstormed a little bit. So it's about a year from now. No, a year in the past. So in 2024, about this time in Easter, we sit down and like, we need to do something. And we just dabble around, and I send some emails here and there. And in the summertime, we are actually getting into the registry in Norway for being volunteer work and stuff like that, and be an organization and having it official and stuff. So, okay, now we have something official. We can go into the library where we live here. And they was like, yeah, we have free room. We can basically lend it to you. We are the library, so we should be a public service for people. And you are doing a public service. So the deal is we are doing it for free. People can come in there and play games. And we have board games. We have Spearhead. We have Kill Teams. We are trying to put in what we can in the narrow space of time, like 4 hours. Let's go every Friday from 6 to 10. We are playing games. So trying to narrow it down to that. So we have actually a guy that used to be a teacher who is extremely good at being a dungeon master for Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. He used to play with his sons when he was younger, and they were younger, but they moved around, you know, and now we can see he has a new place. He can preach the holy scriptures of role-playing games, and he's very good with young people. So very lucky that he's just volunteering to do that work for us every Friday. And
so how big is the age spread of people who show up?
We are aiming for everybody. We are aiming for freaking everybody. It's like we are like 30K people maybe spread around a little over like 50 kilometers perimeter. or what you want to call it. So it's a very small sample of people. So you need to have, we want to be as inclusive as we can be, and make it to be like, if you want to play Monopoly, yeah, let's fucking go for it. Katana, let's go for it. Let Yahtzee, yes, let's go for it. Let Uno, yeah, play Uno. Let's go. Because we know these are the starter drugs to get people into the gaming industry.
Right.
Just there are so many games we want people to play, and like Settlers of Catan is actually a very, very nice game to play. And you can actually get in like 2 games in 4 hours if you are like knowing the rules and stuff like that. And the results from the one game to the other is so different. It's so fun when you are mixing people or mixing different boards and stuff. So it's very interesting to see. But we have, like, when we are thinking about people that are 12 years or younger, we are saying as a parent, please be with them. Because it's we are, to them we are like, you don't know me, I'm an adult 45 years old with looking like I'm looking and stuff like that. And so we want to have the parents there so they can be safe, so they can feel like they can you do their stuff and actually play with the parents. And that will be you're not at home, you don't have the mobile phones, you don't have the computers, you don't have whatever younglings are liking nowadays. And it's fine that, but this 4 hours is more analog. It's for like throwing dice, for reading rules, to having a blast, being a character if you're playing Dungeons and Dragons, or it's so fun, and it's very interesting to see. We have approx 32 people in every Friday now.
Oh wow!
And that's actually a very good number for us, because I was thinking and calculating in my head and trying to figure out the number when we start trying to pitch it to the library. And I said, maybe on a good day we are going to have 10 people in.
Right.
And I was calculating us 4 and maybe some coming in and playing with us. And it's
so
like,
how many of them were? How many of them were people who were brought in by like, I go and I have a good time, so I tell my friend, and next time they come in? And how many of them were people who like heard about it online or saw,
I don't know. I really, it's one of the things I really wish I could have a good data sample of, or having, asking people. But you don't go up to people having a good time and, by the way, can you answer me these questions before you roll your next die? Because I need my samples. So you just have to hope it's a good time. And I can see like 20 people is like regulars. And then you have on top of that people that are dropping in. And sometimes there are like 60 people inside, and that's a lot of people, because
that's
the
like a
room
convention. That's like a
it's very big, and it's kind of breaking a little bit, because it's the sound and everything in that little library is too heavy for that. So we are basically thinking, should we expand? Should we find other places to be and stuff like that? But there's like but next time that can be like 15. So it's like, and what happened from that time to that time, I don't know. We just have to keep on going, because and next time there's like 30 people. So it's so weird, and I don't know. I can't.
So how many people are doing? Obviously, if you're playing Dungeons and Dragons, you're probably playing like the same group over a period. But if you're playing like Spearhead, that's not necessarily the case.
So the DM, the teacher, his name is Frank. Shout out to Frank if you're ever watching this. You're a good person. I love you. Anyways, I should stop myself there. But but yeah, he's very good at finding shorts and stuff like that. And we are trying very hard to find shorts online and stuff. And I actually have writing some shorts too, like a bank heist and stuff like that. So when there are people that are not the regulars coming in and they want to have a game, he's on for it, because we are where we live. There are it's a place called Skjervøy. It's 2 hours drive from here or something, They come in and play the game, and they are the regulars. But sometimes the bridge are closed because the weather, like the snow is snowing and the wind, and trolls and dragons are holding them back or something. And then we need to find, and there's always people that want to join in. I have been to 1 or 2 sessions myself, and he's very good at having a focused mind on where the pace of the game should be, and he can lay it so it's almost every time like 3 hours. And that's a skill. That's a freaking skill, and it's very nice. And you get this satisfying loop where you can go to the end, and then it's done. And it's a very he's very good. So yeah. So the answer is we have one regular group that are doing the progression of the story, but it's not like it's every time. I would say it's about 50-50. So every odd day there are like new people trying the game out for the first time and stuff like that. So and that's very nice. It's it's amazing. And then we have like Spearhead, we have Dice Throne, and we have like there's a lot of different games we have, and there are actually people that come in that are, we have like what you call it, it's not a refugee camp, but there are people coming from Ukraine and war-torn places and coming to Norway, so they can. Some of them are very good at English, so and they drop in as well. And I've been in contact with people that are in what you want to call it in English. Well, that place where they are staying. And this is for everybody. You are welcome to come and join in and play with us too. We actually want that. And sometimes there are like 10 people there that are from all different places in the world, and they sit there and play Uno or Monopoly, and that's okay. And some of them are actually joining us and want to try out. I've been playing Magic the Gathering when I was a little bit younger. Can I try one of the commander decks? And I'm like, hey, yeah, let's take 2 of my decks for all I can. Let's do this. So it's like trying to unify people and trying to figure out, but not pushing everybody into something.
Well, that's one of the magic things about gaming, because it's one of the few things that really can cut across like cultures and social groups and everything else. I've been in like RPG groups that have like, one person who's a highly paid professional, and the next person sitting next to them is like a gutter punk that plays in a band on alternate Fridays and smokes weed, and they're in the same game and bouncing off each other and having a good time. And normally you would never like, people don't tend to, like,
social structures are kind of a little bit less prominent when you are playing the games. You are more relating as a person to another person. So my work or my
sorry, I was gonna say the game gives you kind of like a shared space, like connect to each other. Like what matters is what we're doing here in the game,
and a clear rule set. This is the social contract. We are doing this, and we're trying to beat the game or each other or whatever. It's not about who is having the biggest whatever. I stopped in time there.
So how do you find, because when you organize anything, you'll find pretty quickly there's kind of like a certain amount of momentum for things to start like working on their own, as opposed to like when most groups start, you have like 1 or 2 people who are like making everything happen, organizing everything, making everything go. And eventually over time, you get like more people who kind of come into that role. And you also get people just kind of like get what's going on, and they can kind of like set things up themselves. You know what I mean? How long did it take for that to kind of happen where like you felt like you didn't have to personally make everything happen?
So it's like you have to, if you are starting this, like the approach we had is like, I don't care. I care, but I don't care. So I give everybody space to, if you bring your own game, that's okay. If you want to borrow this, that's okay. And we have like over 60 games total right now, and we have no space for more games to borrow out to people and stuff like that. But it's like just have this is a free space, and we have like the what you call it, the county is promoted again on their social stuff.
Oh, wow.
And we have connection with the kiosk here that do promotions, and we are buying the board games from them, and they give the people. So the to be playing with us is free, but we also have a membership. So if you are a member, you will have like 10% on one online site. That's tabletopbattle.no. Bing! And also Storslett Mix. Bing! And you get 10% there if you are a member. And I think that's a good kickback if you are looking into buying, good stuff for your like Christmas and stuff like that. 10% is huge.
I got a question. Well, first of all, just remember to send me the links after the show, and I'll put them in the show notes. B, shout out to Hambutt. Do you have any advice on fighting the space cops?
Space cops?
Yeah, space cops.
I like regular cops, but they're up there.
Yeah,
in space.
they're up in space. Yeah.
They're always busting into people's business.
Yeah, terrible. And thirdly, relevant to the topic is, okay, so like say I walk into there and I feel lost and alone and I'm looking around. Do you
first of all, I'm going to jump up and give you a hug or something. So
okay, nice. So you should expect hugs, but is there like a lot of guidance?
Now you're alone and uncomfortable.
That's right.
Sorry.
Like, or do you find that people typically will sort themselves out as soon as they enter the space?
Yeah, so we are 5 guys that are like we are the board of the volunteer organization. So there are at least 2 or 3 of us there all the time. Every time there is an event. So we are trying to be, one of us is trying to be closer to the door. So when people are coming in, we are saying, hello, welcome. And if they are looking a little lost or something, we're just asking them just straight out if you just want to look or you want to game, or you're free to look and everything. So we're trying to be welcoming, but not like a salesperson, like jumping at you and here is our new goods, buy it. It's not like there's no recipe for it. So lots of time we are sitting and playing games, we too like, and are very engaged in the game, and people are jumping in and out of where we are and stuff. So, but it's trying to be, because we have the what you call it, we are supposed to make having the library look clean when the game is done. So we have to be like following people a little bit, but there's like they're just, in my experience, they're just all the people that are joining in there is just good guys and girls and everything between, I guess. So
I think people, because libraries have always been like a big thing in Scandinavia, I think, and I think most people kind of understand like how to behave and conduct yourself at a library. There's like an atmosphere to it that's kind of different from if you're meeting like a store or something, where it's like every place has its own like expectations,
vibe. Yeah.
Like, so maybe that like helps people. I was going to ask a question actually, because when you get people together, you are also going to get people who don't necessarily get along. So how do you kind of like manage things to push things along, or how much do you need to like baby people?
Yeah, as I said, the age groups play a role here. So when you see the younger people, like the 15, 16 years old, and girls, when they are grouping, and they are kind of making their own thing, and they are excluding some people and stuff like that. I see that more in other places. I see a more like we are just, the barriers are a little bit down. We are not that. There's a different vibe when you are coming into the place. It's like you're here to play the game and having a good time. You're not here to make your own social claims or be better than the others in the game, yes, but not in like this. It feels like it's like I don't know. And maybe there, like the question you are asking, I haven't seen it, but maybe there are, but I haven't like preserved it.
There's a theory I have that I kind of put to test in the Discord I run. Dave is familiar with it, which is that when people are in a social setting, most people will tend to kind of do what they see people already doing. So like if everyone is like polite and friendly,
monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah, people will kind of like, oh, okay, I'm supposed to behave here. If people are like throwing shit on the walls and eating like the Warhammer guys, then they're going to chow down on some goblins as well. So I think if you kind of have a vibe where it's kind of chill and friendly and casual, then you're going to get people coming in who are going to copy that and kind of like, okay, you know, because most people have like a range, right? Like you can be kind of rowdy, you can be kind of chill or whatever.
Yeah.
But, so people will kind of adjust it a little bit. That's my theory
anyway. Just roll that back a little bit. I have actually had people in like 12, 13 years olds, maybe a little younger, that had to say, this is not the gym. It's not like you are not doing sports there. Go outside and chill. Be out in the 20 minus degrees Celsius and freeze a little bit. And then you can come inside again. And
it'll make you appreciate sitting in here on the chair.
Yeah. So so the age has some impact, but I see when it comes when you are about 17 or some over that age, you are like more seeing, you are kind of absorbing the vibes a little bit. So kind of the young adults to the adults are behaving like they are just cool people, and we are trying to very much be an alternative to like the sports scene and stuff like that, and music and culture. So especially in Norway, you are very focused on stuff like football or skiing or handball and stuff like that. And there's just a very small arena for people that have other interests than that. So I really are hoping to nurse that space and make a space where young people also can feel they can be doing their thing, and that's what we are trying to get moving. But it's always like back and forth and trying to figure out stuff, and like there's like no clear data sheets you can go in and read about all the persons in Nordreisa where I live, and like oh, you like that, okay, I need to contact you about this. So there's a lot of back and forth and figuring out stuff. And but yeah, I've been there's a little bit thing. I don't know if you have heard about it, Warhammer Alliance. So that's a thing where you can write into Warhammer and ask them for actually like schooling kits of miniatures and painting and stuff like that, and having like a course where you are progressing with making miniatures, painting them, building them, reading books, and then after a time playing the games. And for some reason they said, yeah, you guys are legit. So now we have to, so now two of us in the board have to be like teachers and teach painting and stuff. So I'm very curious about, first of all, how many kits are we getting? I was asking for 6, and I hope there are at least 6. If we are going to buy that ourselves, we would, we don't have that kind of money. But I feel like that could be a very good starting point, and I think the best space for that is going to be when the school are starting again after summer.
Yes,
and also giving us time to read through that. There's like a how to on this, and it's actually a kind of a course or a school or what you want to call it. There is a progression, and if you do all the things, you can you get your own backpack, you can have your minis in and stuff like that. So there's a lot of cool like this, almost like you are in the, what you call it, Speideren in English. It's
Boy Scouts.
Boy Scouts, that word. So there is very much in the same vibe as Boy Scouts, where you are doing a little stuff, and when you do all the progression and you tick all the boxes, you win stuff and you get your marks and you get cool coins and stuff like that.
I got a quick question for you, if I may. First we should say hi to Mickey Janver.
Hey, Mickey.
Longtime fan of DiceyGuy. And I didn't quite catch it. Is the Warhammer Alliance free because you're an organization, or are you still purchasing it?
It's free for people like the Boy Scouts or schools that do after school activities and like youth clubs and stuff like that. And because we are a free volunteering organization and are doing work with young people, this is something we are like allowed to be a part of. And it's like I have written so many places for stuff, like trying to be something, find little cool stuff we can offer people. And for some reason they said, yeah, hey, because I read something about we are in the very north part of Norway, long past the Arctic cycles and stuff like that. And I actually have painted miniatures for like 30 years. So I can probably teach somebody how to brush up a miniature. And I just think it's going to be a very nice unifying thing that's going to be a little bit special to our organization, and maybe that's going to put on words out to a bigger audience over time and stuff. So there's always trying to think about stuff that you can build on and build your things bigger and bigger. So we are actually have got other like the banks of Norway. They just give you money if you have a good idea for some reason. Yeah. And I have been asking them for a lot of times, and they say no. And just before now Easter, we had one yes. So now we can buy ourselves tables, like good tables that are the correct size to play the games we are playing, and having good size, like, and they are ours that we can use for ourselves. By the way, the library is aboard about it. We are very clear about what our intent of doing and stuff like that. I'm actually talking about that. There's a 2-level store library, and I said we are going to take the basement. You just wait, and they are laughing at us, but we are working on it. So we have actually one of the rooms are ours already, and we are getting in cabins. We need more cabins for all the board games and miniature games and stuff like that. The paints are coming. So they're moving on, and that is what's make it fun when you are trying to find the good things that can make the gaming situation and our organization thing easier. If that makes sense. And we actually are wanting to buy some cabins that are like with glass cabins, and the kids can put their miniatures that are painted inside there, and we can close it. It's a library, so you want to close it, so not all the people are taking the miniatures out and eating them, like you said. That's the biggest fear.
Yeah, those little goblins get pointy.
Maybe a little tasty too.
Some of those paints are pretty good. Everyone who's painted miniatures has like tasted at least one paint. That's just, you know.
Oh yeah, the taste from the old hexagon goblin green.
Yes,
that is so good.
I was gonna ask, this is kind of drifting a little bit, but how many people do you find, because you guys do a lot of different kinds of games, you know?
Yes,
you do card games and RPGs, minis, board, blah blah blah. How many people do you find that like move between those, and how many people come in like they're there to play Magic, or the game there to play board games? Like genres, or even specific games, like, you know.
It's like, I don't know. 50-50, I guess. I don't.
Like Because you get
But,
people who are very like they get like locked into like one specific thing. Like they see miniatures and
Yeah.
like, oh my god, that's what I want to do. And then you get other people who are like, they just like games of any kind. And you know,
Like I had a little group of 3 people that always coming and playing Magic the Gathering Commander specific games. And one day they come in with Gloomhaven.
Oh wow.
That's
and they're like,
not fucking around anymore.
Kim, come over here, join us. And I was like, yeah, sure. And I've never played Gloomhammer, and oh my god, it was fun. It was that Lions
It was a great game.
Oh yeah.
version of it. It's the tutorial version of Gloomhaven.
Yeah.
But I was for me as a miniature painter, they didn't paint the miniatures. I was like,
oh,
I was keeping my mouth shut, but it aches me to see the grays. I just like sneaking up my brush and paint it while we're playing. But yeah, it's a very nice game, and it's taken me all this time before I really tried it, and I can see that is one thing we want maybe buying in and having in stock so people can play. But it's kind of very hard to narrow it down to just 4 hours. I can see a problem there, but we will see.
Yeah,
we have a lot of money. We can spend a lot of money now on board games and stuff. And I'm very happy that we are not just me. We are 4 other guys, and I can give some people the responsibility to you have to buy those games. Here's the money. Go get them. It's like we don't have the cash. We have to like what you call it, we have to like show the receipts and everything, and it has to be 1-to-1 what we're saying we want to buy and what we are actually having. So there's not like no pockets are greased with the money. They are specific. They are specific for the game, and that's a very I like that system, and so yeah, but all we are all very glowing for the communities and stuff like that. I feel like the community wording and stuff like that, I feel like it's watered out. People are like, they don't when you are talking about building communities and building, I feel like it meant something different like 10 years ago, but I feel like if you're saying it now, it's just a buzzword for social medias. But we are actually trying to do it.
Yeah, it's different because everything drifted online, so you almost have to like rebuild how people used to do it,
Yeah.
Because I think everyone has had that experience of trying to build like a Warhammer group or something back in the early or late 90s, and you had to do it like manually. You couldn't,
you have to be in the gaming store, and you have to see when they are picking up a Warhammer kit. Hey, you're in the group.
They're not, like the crazy dude who like smells like cat pee. Because gaming stores. So it's a whole different, but it's also, I think there's a lot of, we kind of talked about this a little bit in a previous episode I think the fact that board games and tabletop games and miniatures games are something analog that you sit down and do with people and with your hands has a really big draw, because I think the need to like do that has never like gone away, but everyone is, you're on your phone all the time, or you're watching TV, or you're working on a computer all fucking day. So I think for a lot of people who might not consider themselves to be gamers normally, that has like a really strong draw. You sit down, have fun. Like a lot of games are like as much time joking around as it is like moving dudes and rolling dice, right?
Yep.
And I think that can be really like powerful. Also for kids who don't necessarily like, they get like sport in school and stuff, but a lot of kids don't do stuff like even just like kids not having a hobby like at all, like nerds find that inconceivable because we're always accumulating stupid bullshit to collect or do. But for a lot of kids, you have to be introduced to those things. Otherwise, like, how can you even like, you might be like really interested in playing Warhammer, but if you've never seen it and you've never been shown what it's like, you can't even conceive that that's the thing you could do, So I think it's really valuable to have spaces like that and groups like that where you can go, and sort of like learn things and see things. When I was a kid, and this was in Denmark in the late night or early 90s, there was it was mostly an RPG club, but they kind of drifted into Games Workshop stuff, particularly. Like Blood Bowl was like the big thing that everyone played. But it was, this was back in like 3rd edition Blood Bowl, so it was all broken, but it was still good. Blood Bowl was better when it was bullshit. The more they fix it to be better and more fair, like the less. Anyway, but they had a thing where you could like sign up on a little list and you could like borrow books and games and stuff. And that was like really cool. Because, you know, growing up in that time, like you don't have a lot of money. You have whatever your parents' allowance are. You're not old enough to have a job, or you have a newspaper route that pays nothing because you're just getting ripped off. So being able to just like, you know, you're not going to go to the store and buy like the rule book for Shadowrun or something like that. But that gave you a way to like see these things, you know, and as a teenager at that time, you know, that was the coolest shit we had ever seen. You know what I mean?
We are actually trying to work like influence the library to take in the role-playing, all the D&D and Pathfinder and like Shadowrun and have what have you, like all the things, because they have the system already. When you are landing the book, there is the system. You don't have to do it. So it's trying to figure out the good way to collab with the system they have is much better than the system we have for lending out stuff.
Of course. Yeah, because I remember the library when I was a kid, and again, this was in like kind of small town Denmark. But they, for some reason, I don't know, it was like one person at the library who was like behind all of this, but they had huge stacks of like D&D books, a little bit of other like mostly like Scandinavian games.
I bet I bet they actually had like sets when everybody was off the library. They come in.
Yeah. It's like they had like a huge collection of Dragon magazines.
Playing role-playing games with all the books around and the smell of the books and
that's perfect.
So nice.
But it was such a cool thing for kids, because you would see it all the time. You see kids come in and they would see like the cover of like the Player's Handbook or the cover of like a fighting fantasy book or something. I don't know if you had those in Norway, like the Choose Your Own Adventure kind of books.
Yeah. That was actually the very first thing that introduced me to role-playing games was the Choose Your Own Adventure style of games.
Me too. That was like, that's such a thing of growing up in that
page
time
70, page 14, page
then
whatever.
You get to the end and you don't have the black pearl or whatever you need, and you have to start.
But no.
But being able to see all that stuff that you could never like afford if you wanted to buy all those books or badger your parents for them. So that was such an important thing for like everyone I knew got into gaming because of stuff like that, or they knew somebody who got into it because of stuff like that. So that's like super powerful, I think, and especially for like you mentioned at the beginning, you know, like kind of realizing that like the community around you was getting older, people are drifting away or they're moving away or whatever, like people come out of it. It's
I come in again. That's the fun thing. I can see people that have been out of the gaming for like 20 years, and then all of a sudden they are joining back in, and it's like, oh, friend, let's go.
Nobody ever leaves. Like, I think if you've ever like felt that bug or that like passion for gaming, you can like go off and do other stuff for a while. But you always gotta kind of remember. Like you're always kind of gonna remember like what it was like to like kill an orc or like pass your morale check or draw like it's such a, and it's one of those things that like when you talk to other gamers, like you could just recognize immediately, like they get it, you know? So and you know, you get people who are like getting older and they suddenly realize that, you know, they want to do something that isn't just like working and mowing the lawn or chasing reindeer away up there. So they want to do something else. And like, so that's why you turn them into tacos. You can eat the fucker, so they aren't like shitting all over the lawn.
It's the Swedes, not us, but
See, to Danes, there's just Swedes, and then there's the other Swedes that used to belong to us.
Wow.
That's all right. I've heard what you guys say about the Danish language. I'm
If I may interject, I'm
yes.
going to say hello to a few people who've dropped in. Funny Creature is asking us, What about the Warboss Tay painting challenge? I have not read up on it. I know that my account's linked, so on whenever I do a video, it goes to Warboss Tay, his Discord. But actually, I haven't quite visited it in a little while, so I'm not sure what's going on with the painting challenge.
He's like a machine. Like
he is like a machine.
The 2 years now, he's done like painting challenge. It's like, holy shit, I don't have miniatures anymore.
Yeah.
Where is
And then,
it's a very amazing thing to join in and be a part of. So if you have the time and the effort to do it, do it.
Yeah, we'll say hi to Tom Kennish, who is Psychic Hazard.
Hey.
He's very excited about an early episode. Lidanto, Jason misses libraries.
There's
I guess they're gone from America. Closed.
We have
what?
Americans don't.
Oh shit! That's what happened to the country.
Yeah.
Nobody
save the libraries.
Save the libraries.
Even my like tiny little town here has a library, but it's like it's mostly just like old ladies who go for romance novels. I think.
Noise says that they were also about. I wonder how you say it in Italian. Lupo solitario.
I think that sounds perfect Italian.
Yeah.
I also don't speak Italian, so there may be some
like a swear word or something.
Yeah, you just said something terrible about
or
like
cursing.
Yeah.
Tom Kennish had a break. Everyone has a break. And you need that outlet to be able to jump back in. So community building, especially organically like this, is very important. I can interject with my group that I play with, the Rust Monks. I didn't organize it or anything. I just joined in because they were playing Mordheim. I wanted to get back into Mordheim. I played it when it came out, and then like spent a couple decades not playing it. I didn't want to get back. And it was very easy to do because they would put up posters in the LGS. And so they'd say, like, oh, this is the Mordheim thing. If you want to join in, scan this QR code. So if you scan the QR code, it goes directly to the Discord, and then everything gets organized from there. So, and then you're playing physically still in the store.
They made a tone crier. Is that what they call it more?
Yeah, exactly. So in this case, they made a poster.
So cool.
And if they have other events, they do another poster. They print them out, put the QR code. So it's a very nice way to you go in there, you see something you like, you scan the code, goes to the Discord, then you get organized. Oh, absolutely.
That's very, very nice.
Yeah.
So do you have groups that are doing stuff like this?
But I live in a 1.6 million people city with like a ton of local game stores. Like there's a ton. They have to compete with each other.
Yeah.
Like basically, angry nerds will get tired of one and they'll go to another. So it's always a big competition. I usually game at the biggest one, which is it was like a 2-story warehouse. That's a game store, and so. They are set up for gaming all the time. The gaming is always happening. Tonight, when I go to Mordheim, we'll be playing amongst, 50 people playing board games. And then there'll be between 10 to 20 of us playing Mordheim. And then I think there's usually some RPers like tucked away in a corner somewhere. There's always one player somewhere.
So weird.
I live in a town of 1,800 people where the average age is 42. So there ain't nobody gaming here. However, so the community is a friend of mine that comes up, and my brother-in-law, who is currently learning to play miniatures games, because he had played role-playing games and he does model kits. So it was kind of like, okay, if we combine these two,
join those two.
So and he's interested like World War II and stuff. So that was kind of an easy. But yeah, so living rural is like a whole different challenge when it comes to like gaming.
It is a big challenge. It is. Yeah.
So luckily, my kid likes to play games. So
nice.
I have a built-in opponent there. Although he is also being teenagers always have this thing where people always think that like symbol games are for young people, but that's not true at all. The symbol games are like for old people. The kids will like devour anything. We were playing some World War I board game, and I thought it was pretty good. I had a good time with it. We were talking after we had played, and he was like, well, for people like us, I think this is a little too simple. I was like, So,
like the people like us, was he talking about you and him, or the young? Okay, yeah.
So because he's a big, he's a history buff, and he's played. I like kind of complex games sometimes, so he's kind of learned, learned that. But But yeah,
that,
so it's
that is a motivation. That's a motivation faction for me too, because I have 3 kids, and the age span is from like 15 to 9, and one in between there. So trying to figure out how to introduce them into games and having a good setup and a safe place to be, like the library, I feel like is a very important thing for other kids too. I feel like we are building a thing here that should like, I just really hope we can like establish this as a thing, a fixed fixture in like where I live forever. Like that is the goal. Like this is something that's going to be standing here after I'm finished with it. Yeah, when I do like the Pope and smoke out. So yeah. How is it with everybody in the chat? How are you doing with where you are from? Where do you have a gaming group or a bigger community to be at? Or interesting to see how people in the comments are how they are doing with it.
Yeah, well, I know Noise is a lone wolf, that's for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say we might get a skewed sample because if they're here from the Nordic Weasel group, a lot of them are solo gamers, so their community is like them hanging out, which is like a whole
people.
Yeah,
they're cool. They're cool individually.
Yep.
So, but for a lot of people, that's kind of like a separate. Where people who play solo or who paint on their own, like for some people it's a solitary hobby, but they still like to have like you go find a community you can join, you can share stories or techniques, you can show off what you're working on. So that's kind of like a separate, where the internet is very helpful. It's like if I'm painting miniatures, the only one around here who cares is like my kid, and he's required to because he's my kid. So,
I kick you off. No food.
Right. Like, get in here. Look at this shit. But if you can go online and you can talk to people, and you find a community that's painting the same kind of stuff you are, or just like generally painting, and some dude in Russia will tell you that your paint looks like shit, and like you cry and you never paint again. But it could be good.
But you're touching on something. I actually had there is a person that are in the group that are showing off his dad's painting job.
Oh yeah,
and he paints exclusively orcs and goblins.
But
holy shit, that paintwork is like this should be like a golden demon. Like he's like so good at painting miniatures. And I'm being like, every time he show me the pictures, and I say, holy shit, it's good. Can you get your dad in here? Because that guy, I have to say to him, you are a legend. So someday I'm hoping he's coming into where we are and the library, and I can tell him you're a freaking legend, because I feel like, especially when you are painting miniatures, I feel like you're putting yourself in that work. You're putting up your best work. Like sometimes you just paint the miniatures because you want them on the board and play the game, but sometimes you are putting up a lot of efforts, and it's very nice to get some good feedback, not just the Russian guy that tells you to fuck off.
Yeah, I mean, it is art, right? Like you're creating something. It's always scary to like, put yourself out there and say like, oh, I did this, because you've seen like 1,000 people on Instagram who can paint just like perfectly, so to come out, so to be able to go out and do it and get feedback, and especially when it's in person, like one of the things I used to go to 40K tournaments like way back, and the first night before any of the games were on, you get people who are like just organizing a random game with somebody, and you get people who are just like checking out each other's armies and stuff, and see like what people came up with. There's always, a couple of people have something really clever, and there's one army that looks really, really nice, and so on.
And stuff.
Yeah. So you just kind of soak up, and you see stuff that like nobody, because we had like 5 or 6 people who played together, so we knew each other's armies and painting, and we had a certain style. But then you go and see people who paint completely differently or have different styles, a different thing, like if all of your armies look very serious And then you meet another or see other people who have like goofy armies, or they have the Hello Kitty Space Marines or whatever.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I also seen when I was playing, had my Bretonians. I was like serious Bretonians knights, and then I was fighting the Goblin army that was painted like the Smurfs. And the Smurfs freaking kicked ass on my Bretonians.
Yeah. Which makes it even worse. So, but yeah, that is absolutely. We're kind of running to the end of our usual time slot, I think.
Okay.
So if we have both because we try to aim for an hour, but also because that's how long my phone battery lasts when recording video. So we have a timer built in as long as the battery doesn't get any worse. Otherwise, we're gonna have to keep shrinking the episodes down to like 17 minutes until I buy a new phone.
Next episode, 10 minutes. Hello, bye.
Yeah. So short and sweet. So I guess any like final because there are a couple of people in comments were musing on like, well, maybe I should create a group, but maybe I should do a thing like pick like the shortest 2 or 3 pieces of advice if somebody's starting. What do you wish you had known in advance? That's like the classic one, right? Like if you could go back in time to tell yourself, like 1, put your pants on that morning. 2, then what?
Yeah, just forget the pants. Do it.
Fall to
the walls.
Do
it. That's the best advice I can give. That just have an idea, pursue it, and find friends you can work with, so you can bounce. Because not all my ideas are the best. You know, the board games I like isn't what everybody else likes. So if you have a little broader people that you can bounce ideas with, you will have a better, like a general better thing than just yourself. If you're doing everything solo, you're going to burn yourself out, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the best advice, and you have to have passion for it, because like we are doing it here, we are doing for nothing. We're just we are writing into banks and to organizations and, please, sir, can I have $1?
Yeah.
And a lot of the times they say no.
Yes.
You have to build yourself. You have to be prepared that the best idea you actually have to do the thing so people can see that the idea you have actually are working. So you have to be consistent. So you have to find a time to do it. It's like when you are streaming and making episodes and stuff, you have to have a date and a day and and build on that, and people will over time learn to come in and enjoy the content or the gaming community you are building up. So it's kind of the same as streaming or doing stuff like that. If you are just being consistent and the idea you feel are the best, you just have to pursue it, and the passion has to be in your heart. I feel like I'm talking too much now.
No. So I think what you're saying is like a 2-stage process. Yeah.
Do it.
So first of all, you need to romance a few gamers.
Yes.
To build strong bonds, because it's dangerous to go alone. And if you just show up every time, like I always be at the game store at 1 p.m. playing my game by myself at the table, you look like a weirdo, so no one wants you. But if there's like 3 people or something, then you look cool.
Light could be an issue because then people see your face, and I was like,
No, 3 people is perfect. And then once you get
we need
a dedicated group of people, then you have momentum.
Yes. The reason you need at least 3 people is because then there's plausible deniability of who is the ugliest gamer in the group.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because if it's 2, it's like, well, that dude is pretty handsome, so that means I'm the ugly one. Then you feel bad. But when it's 3, it's like, well, they're not both handsome, so I might slip in the middle.
Like that, good point.
Well, I think that about sums us up for the week. I think we had a pretty lively chat. We always do check in, and you're welcome to check in as well. We try to respond to everyone who posts, because a lot of people watch these after the fact, because we have both American and European audience, and you can't apparently.
Wait, we should respond to the things too. Oh shit.
Yeah. You can just post the same comment. Like, they don't all read the other answer, so just say the same thing over and over. It's fine. I just type, I'm not sure about that, ? And reply that to everything. So it works for word email too. Like, if it's important, you need to know, they'll clarify in the follow-up.
Yep. It's like when you are putting stuff on Reddit. Just say that you are absolutely sure this is the way to do it, and somebody will tell you different and give you the correct answer.
Any last words for you, Dave?
None from me. Just be strong.
Yeah,
be strong.
That's good.
Carry on.
We're gonna do the hearts.
Heart out. All right, everyone.
Hey,
your heart attack.
First try.
Such success.
Hey.
All right. Well, everyone say goodbye. Bye.
Everybody, bye.
Have a good night.